Hello friends, welcome and welcome back to my channel. This is Annette, and in today's video we will be doing a timeless pick a card reading looking into what is the truth between you and this person. Now when we talk about truth, I believe there's always three parts or three sides to the truth, especially when it's involving you and the other person. There is your truth, their truth, and the actual unbiased truth, okay, the ultimate truth, so to speak. So this is what we will be looking into. Now my intention for this reading is that I'm not going to limit it just to like romantic relationships or a specific type of relationship. I'm going to open it. I'm going to try and touch on how these cards can apply to family dynamics, friendships, colleagues, for example. However, I must admit, tarot readings can have a life of their own. And although it is intended as a general reading, there will be a lot of people, a lot of situations. So there is every possibility that one pile might be skewed towards more of romantic dynamics. Another pile would be skewed towards maybe colleagues, friends, or family dynamics and the like. So just keep that in mind. But the intention, at the very least on my side, is to touch on every type of relationship types in each pile. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. You may pause the video to choose your pile, and if it's the first time you're doing a pick a card reading, you can choose based on the number. This is pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Pile number 1 is represented by this clear quartz. Pile number 2 is represented by this Labradorite heart, and pile number 3 is represented by the rose quartz. So you can choose based on the numbers, you can choose based on the visual, which one you are attracted to, or you can choose based on the crystals. And without further ado, let's get started. So there, if you chose this pile with the clear quartz halfstone, then this is your reading. You are pile number 1. So let us take a look at the cards. Your first card is elegance. It is found in the beauty of nature, the lotus waiting to bloom, be the swan on the water and glide. The second card is change. You are transforming, let go of the past, embrace the light and joy of this new day. These cards we will come back to later because they're intended as your advice. Now we're getting to the cards where we look into the truth of the other person in this dynamic. So we have the Three of Wands, Eight of Swords, Seven of Wands, and also the Queen of Wands. Okay, and then we get to your truth. It's the Five of Cups. There's the Strength card. There's the Eight of Wands. There's a side. And there is the Two of Wands. And now we will look into what is the truth of the situation between the two of you. Like what is the ultimate truth here, actually? So the first card is the Death card. I'll put this here. And then there is the Five of Pentacles, Two of Swords, and the Star card. Okay. Right, so let me just rearrange this a little bit so we can try and see a little bit of every card. All right. Okay, so here we go. I feel like for this group, regardless of whatever type of relationship this is, this applies whether it is a romantic relationship, friendship, family member, or even colleagues. There's an argument that happened here. Okay, so after this argument happened, this individual wants to take action, maybe wants to come forward and apologize. However, there is something that's hindering them. Their mindset is hindering them. Maybe they feel like if they were to come forward and apologize, you would not accept their apology. Maybe you would reject them, and hence they decided, or they feel like it's very hard to decide whether they want to come forward or not. Okay, they're not ready yet. They want to, but they're afraid of the rejection that may come if they were to approach you, because there was an argument here. I think that they also had their faults. Okay, they contributed to this conflict. However, they did not own up to their part. Okay, they were very defensive, and you know, it's maybe part of their pride. This could be a dynamic between a man and a woman. Again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be colleagues. I'm seeing for some of you, it is a colleague situation. Maybe in a meeting, you had an argument, okay, with this individual, and their ego was challenged, and then they said something that is meant to hurt you. In particularly as a woman, you know, I'm seeing this as a very beautiful woman, very confident. But this person, because of their insecurity, because they want to win, they didn't feel comfortable admitting that they could have done things differently, or maybe they could have been open to your idea. Let's say you countered their idea in the meeting, they felt challenged, and then they say something that kind of like insults you in a roundabout way and kind of like implies that this is typical for a woman, that is something that I'm getting here. There's reference to gender, okay? So somehow it's not offensive enough for it to be blatantly called out on, but it made people in the meeting room felt a certain way. Some of them would feel amused, some of them would feel offended. I'm getting the men would maybe feel amused and the women would feel a bit offended. For example, typical women cannot make up their minds, so it's kind of like a reference to that. And this applies in the workplace, again, in romance, in family dynamics and friendships as well. Whatever it is, there is a feeling here that the two of you are different genders. Okay, so either you watching other guy and this is a woman that we're talking about, or for the majority of you, I'm feeling that you are the woman and this other person is the guy, okay? Because of how we're looking at things here. But keep in mind that this can be switched too. Even though these are supposed to be their truths and this is supposed to be your truth, these can be switched, okay? So let us take a look at your truth. Now you are hurt, okay? Maybe during the argument, whatever it is, whatever this conflict is about, it kind of hit you in a sore spot. And it's really surprising to you because you felt that you were already okay and accepting of this sore spot of yours. Okay, for example, maybe there is an insecurity and in this argument that was highlighted, and then it hurts your feelings really deeply. This was something that you have tried very hard to overcome in the past, okay? If this is a romantic relationship, for example, maybe you have been vulnerable with your partner, you've disclosed some mistakes you made in the past, maybe you've run away from your responsibilities, maybe you've made decisions that were not the best for you, and then they kind of bring it up during the argument because their ego was challenged, and then they brought it up and they kind of like threw it back in your face, like, well, it's not as if you're the most responsible person. I mean, you would know, right? What you did in the past, it's kind of like that. And it's very hurtful. It came out of nowhere. It makes me feel like among all the things, I would not have expected you to say that or be that way. Okay, I would never have in a million years thought that you would use that against me, for example. So that's what I'm getting here. Okay. Now I can feel that you feel really hurt by this, and I understand why. I get a sense that there is shame here. There is guilt and shame. Like I said, in the boardroom meeting scenario, they said something that they shouldn't. They used some sort of weakness that they saw in you and highlighted it, and it made quite a number of people uncomfortable, but it really hurt your feelings. And they knew that they hit below the belt, okay? In a partnership, romantic partnership is the same as well. Okay, there is a sense that they knew they did something wrong. They played dirty. They hit below the belt, and then they inflicted unnecessary pain, more pain than they should, and they're feeling guilty. But it's really hard for them to come forward. They want to, but they're afraid they would be rejected. So on your side, I'm sensing that yes, this came unexpectedly, and there is a sense that you feel the need to get away for a while. Okay, I'm getting the sense that maybe you have not been going out, you have not been active maybe on social media, you've been keeping to yourself, maybe you even went to a trip or planning to go to a trip. There's just this feeling that I want to escape. Okay, I want to be by myself for a while. Either you are already doing it or you're planning to do that. Okay, so that's your side of the truth here. Based on what I see here, there is a falling out for sure. Okay, so when we look at the truth between the two of you here, there is the death card. There is a sense that death card is not literal death. It talks about transformation. So there could be two camps here. For one camp, the two of you are good, have a good relationship, whether colleagues, whether romance. You had a good relationship, but this has transformed your relationship to become one that is, no longer happy. Okay, there is a loneliness card here. Okay, abandonment and loneliness. And then, the two of you don't like how things are going. You, even though you're hurt, you don't like how things are between the two of you. He or this individual is also not liking how things are between the two of you, but neither of you know what to do with it. Okay, because the Two of Swords is here, there is indecision here. However, there is hope for this to be healed because there is the healing card here with the star. I would say that the truth is, even though it seems hopeless, even though this damage seems irreparable, it can be healed, okay? At the very least, there is a choice, I would say. Either you can reach out and want to talk about it, kind of like get closure, like I really did not see that coming, that hurt me, and listen to what they have to say. And if they are asking for your forgiveness, if they apologize and what have you, then the ball is in your court whether to forgive them or not, okay? Or they could reach out to you, okay, and then they apologize. For most of you, though, I would say it's more heavy. There's an encouragement here that you can reach out to them. Because if you wait for an apology to come, for most of you, this person is contrite, but they're afraid of rejection. So opening that door, indicating that you are open to listening to what they have to say, can actually open the door towards forgiveness and healing, okay? You might even find that your relationship becomes stronger and better, okay? This could be best friends as well. Maybe in the best friend scenario, this person, they're feeling their ego was challenged for some reason. Maybe they're feeling a bit jealous. Maybe you were making a point, talking, and then they just got irritated and said something that was private, that was secret, that nobody else was supposed to know, and they threw it back in your face, and then, it really hurts you. So, like I said, it's pretty similar across whatever dynamics it is that you are in, romance, friends, family, and colleagues. Basically, if they are not reaching out, there is an encouragement that you can reach out to them to clear the air. Okay, but of course, this is a general reading. For some of them, they might still be defensive. They might still try to defend their ego, to which you can now make an informed decision. Okay, you can be satisfied that you tried. You tried to reach out, you tried to clear the air, you tried to get closure, but they are not, wanting to make amends, so you can peacefully let go of this relationship, okay, whatever form of relationship it is. Or let's say if they do apologize, they are contrite, then at least you guys can repair and grow stronger together in terms of your relationship. Now, for the other camp, it's not a good relationship to begin with. Okay, maybe you've always been at loggerheads with each other. It could be a sibling, it could be you and your parent, one of your parents or your parents. It could be that the romantic relationship was already rocky to begin with, okay, and then this occurred. And it just makes things a lot worse, okay? So the healing part, I would say here, is that, when this happens, if you're in the second camp, things were not great to begin with, and it becomes worse. So you will find the healing here to let go of this dynamic and cut them off, okay? So you have a decision here that you can make. Now, for your advice, there are two cards that came out here. Number one is believe in the impossible. Like I said, this was very hurtful, this falling out, okay? So if you feel that it's irreparable, believe in the impossible. And, balance spirituality and practicality, okay? I'm getting here that one of the things that you can do is kind of like think back. What can you learn from this, okay? There is a sense, the words that come to me is public apology, and that is the practical side of things. Like, you can be spiritual and forgive this person, but at the same time, if they insulted you in a way that really like ripped your dignity, maybe the practical thing to show that the water is under the bridge is they issue a public apology. I don't know, that's very specific. Maybe it applies to, a specific person that's meant to come across this reading. But I would say, like, balance spirituality and practicality is also, for some of you, this advice means that, if they have been doing this again and again, practicality tells you that they're probably not going to change. As much as you want to be spiritual and good and, forgive people, but you forgive because you want to be free. But on a practical level, you do not let them into your life anymore, okay? But if historically they have always been good to you, but this time around they, slipped up and offended you deeply and hurt you deeply, then from a practical standpoint, logically, they probably didn't mean it. It was a mistake on their part. And if you want to, you can really consider giving them another chance, okay? Hello guys, editing Anette here. I have just arranged your cards back into a single pile here, and then I got some additional insights and I just felt called to just share them with you, okay, before we actually do end this reading. So I'm inserting this clip before the ending. So what I'm getting here, if this conflict has arose between parent-child dynamic, maybe you are the child and this conflict is with your parent, or maybe between you and your child if you have a child that is grown up, or if it can also be between family members like cousins, it can also be siblings. The The conflict that arose is, of course, with families. They kind of know your secrets. They kind of know the embarrassing stories. There's a lot of embarrassing stories that they can tell about you. And, the conflict that arose is because like a secret, something from the past is brought up, something was highlighted in a way that really hurt you. Okay, maybe it's something embarrassing. Maybe it's something that you really, really want to forget. But then they brought it up. And this led to the conflict. And again, the advice still stands, a balance between spirituality and practicality. Look at the history. If they've always had the history of making fun of you, offending you, talking down on you, then you would need to, for your best interest, you would need to think whether you want to spend time with them or maybe want to drop some boundaries. But if they've always had a good relationship with you and this is a mistake on their part, then there is a chance that this relationship can be salvaged, okay? I feel some resistance to the suggestion that you can consider reaching out to them. Because I'm hearing that, well, if they are the ones who offended me, why should I be the one to reach out to them? Okay, because love goes beyond the ego, right? If you would like to get closure, you would like to talk it out, clear the air, then it doesn't really matter who initiates what. As long as the outcome, there's an outcome, okay? Whether you decide to repair the relationship or not, at least you know where you stand. Okay, so that's what I'm getting here. So that's just something I'm inserting before the end of this clip or the section of your reading. Thank you once again. Bye. So that is what I'm getting for you. Thank you so much, Pile 1, for allowing me to do this reading for you. I hope that it has given you the clarity that you need pertaining to this situation. And if you would like to have a personal one-on-one reading with me, I do tarot and numerology readings as well. You can head over to the description box. I will have the link to my website there. And I read internationally, so regardless of where you are in the world, you can engage in my services. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hello there. If you chose this pile with the Labradorite heart, then this is your reading. You are pile number 2. So let us take a look at your cards. The first card is love. Listen to your heart. Embrace what makes you happy. There are 1 million reasons to love. The second card is dance. Find your heart's rhythm. Step lightly and swing with the melody. Close your eyes and let joy lead the way. These cards I will put aside for now because they are your advice cards. We will come back to those later. And for these cards, they represent the truth of the other person in this reading. Okay, so the first card is 5 of Wands. Second card is 10 of Wands. Third card is King of Swords. And the final card is 5 of Pentacles. Now for your truth in this dynamic, the first card is Knight of Pentacles, the Wheel, the Emperor, and the World. All major arcanas except for the first one. Very interesting. Now we come to the truth between the two of you. Okay, so this is their truth, this is your truth, and this is the ultimate truth between the two of you. Okay, so we have the Two of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Strength, Three of Swords, the Sun, Seven of Swords, 9 of Wands, and Queen of Pentacles. Now, based on what I'm seeing here, this particular pile is leaning really strongly towards a love relationship dynamic. Okay, let me just tell you off the bat, if you're watching for a colleague, a relationship with a colleague, if you're watching for any other relationships and romance, this is probably not your pile. Okay, this pile is definitely for the love relationship type. Okay, so I'm going to rearrange the cards a little bit first because I want to talk about their truth. It's obscured by this pile of cards here. Okay, so I'll just rearrange really quickly. Okay, so let's look into the truth of this other person, and keep in mind that even though this is meant to be the truth about them or their truth, and this is meant to be your truth, this can be switched as well. So when I see this, I immediately think avoidant. Okay, I think avoidant. There is a sense that this person has trauma from their childhood, probably from parentification or being parentified. Now, being parentified means that, let's say, their parents do not, one of the parents typically do not have the support that they need from their spouse. And so this individual, as the child, probably they're the eldest child, or they are the child that has been, they become anak harapan or the hero within the family. They had to step up and play the role of the spouse that was not, giving the support to that parent that is parentifying this person. I'll give an example because that seems very complicated. Let's say mom is not in good terms with dad. Okay, dad and mom always argue. Dad reacts by, going to work, not really giving mom what she needs. So the elder son, let's say this person, the elder son plays the role of dad, plays the role of listening to moms and mom's complaints, listening to mom's complaints about dad, about life, about everything. He's the one that becomes her rock, her pillar, instead of her husband. Okay, dad is not there for mom. So mom makes elder son into kind of like a makeshift spouse, okay, in that sense. So this is what parentified means. It's kind of like the child taking care of the parent. So this is the dynamic that I'm getting here. You see here, 5 of Wands typically show two camps of people arguing with each other, beating each other up, competing against each other. Yet this person is in the middle. It feels like they are the peacemaker. Okay, they had to play the role of peacemaker since young. There is the sense that they held a lot of responsibility that is not theirs since young. Okay, and then we see here there's the 10 of Wands. This is burdens. This is burdens that they carry that is not theirs. Okay, that is too much for them as a child. It's not their role to have that responsibility, but then it's been given to them. And the King of Swords is someone who is very intelligent, but this King of Swords feels very cold. They are not able to connect with their emotions somehow. Maybe there was enmeshment, okay, and the way they keep themselves safe is to distance themselves from being close to anybody. But the thing is, people who are avoidant, people who have this trauma, it's not that they don't feel love, it's just that they don't know how to handle themselves. And you can see here, they long for connection, but it also scares them. Okay, it also makes them uncomfortable. They feel like when there's closeness, they're afraid that they're going to lose themselves. Just like how they lost themselves when they were a child and they had nowhere to run. They had to they had to step in the role that, the parent has assigned to them. Okay, they cannot escape. And so that's the feeling that I'm getting here. This is their truth. It's not that they don't love or they cannot love. It's not that they don't long for love, but it's very difficult. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with their emotions. Now, your truth here, there is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the hardest working knight, but he's also the slowest. I'm getting the sense here that you may have had experiences with love, and it hasn't been the most, maybe easiest or most pleasant, but you have learned from those experiences, and you have started or already are on the other side of things. Okay, you may have a father wound that has led you to have maybe some difficulties in your love life, but again, there's indication here you have graduated. Okay, the thing is, I'm getting a sense that you are very self-aware. You are aware of that, this person is kind of like avoidant. You know that they have love for you, but how do we come together in harmony? How can I get what I need from them without, how can I be in this relationship without having to compromise who I am, what I need, just because this person is not able to connect in a healthy and secure way. Okay, so again, I must commend you. Pile number 2, you do have a lot of self-awareness. This is kind of like difficulty and victory, and then, difficulty and then victory. You learn fast. You learn your life lessons really fast. So you're aware about this dynamic. There is a sense that, okay, do I stay? Do I try to make this work? Or do I walk away because, I really care for him and I know that he cares for me too, but I'm not getting what I want. Whenever I want to come nearer or when I want to start to connect, that's when he pulls away. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for your truth. You see the truth of the situation, which is great. Now, if we are to look at the truth between the two of you, I love this actually. There are 2 of Cups here. So I do see from what the cards are saying, the 2 of you have love for each other. Okay, regardless of whether you feel it for him or not. And I think that you do feel it from time to time. It's just that he would start pulling away when you guys start getting closer. And that can be frustrating to you. So the truth of the matter is with the Sun here, there is love here between the 2 of you, but there needs to be a building. There needs to be getting out of the comfort zone, especially for this other person that was parentified, okay? Because this is buzzing in the background. This is stealing their peace. They may or may not understand why they react and why they feel the way that they do. So that is what I'm getting here. One thing that you can do if you want to give this a chance is to open up the conversation. Ask about how do you feel about closeness? Does it make you feel uncomfortable and things like this, right? Try to get them to understand not teach them, but kind of like ask them questions that make them have seeds of questions. Okay. For example, does, when you spend a lot of time with people, does it make you uncomfortable? Just ask them so that they have that awareness. And then they would say like, well, yeah, actually I do find that if I spend too much time with a person, I feel suffocated. Okay. And you can ask, well, why is that? And not trying to lead them into being their therapist. Please do not be their therapist. And I think for the majority of you understand this as well, which is why you're questioning, like, if I'm to be with this person, I don't want to be their therapist, right? Or if you have that intention, gosh, do I have what it takes to lead him to understand what's going on here, that he's being avoidant, that his childhood has traumatized him, right? I would say kind of like gently suggest, this is a general reading, so there's going to be different levels of avoidance, closeness, and openness between you and your person. Okay, so you need to take it how it resonates. Some avoidance can still be open to suggestion. Some clamp down immediately. They shut down immediately at any form of probing from you. Okay, but if you can be direct, and some of them can be receptive to this, some of them won't, I would say use your discernment. Eventually the subject of maybe therapy or counseling will need to come to play. A heart-to-heart maybe can need to come to play. Like, for example, you say, I noticed that when we are starting to get close, there is a sense that you're pulling away. Do you realize this? And they may say yes, they may say no. Okay. Sorry about the shake. I accidentally leaned on the tripod. But yeah, you need to, I would say, part number 2, you would need to discern this based on your situation. Every one of you is going to have different levels. Like I said, your partner, who is a little bit avoidant here, some of you, they're really severe on the avoidance scale. Some of you, they're still open. So like, kind of like try to breach the subject about maybe talking things out. Do not criticize, number 1, but it's more of kind of like tell them how it makes you feel. Like when you suddenly are silent without telling me, it makes me feel a certain way. It makes me feel like maybe I did something wrong. If you need time on your own, it's totally fine. But it would be really great if you could tell me, like, hey, I need some time to myself. I'll get back to you when I'm ready. And if you could give me a tentative date on when you would be back, that would be great. But if not, that's fine too. It's kind of like that. Tell them what you need. Okay, tell them how it makes you feel, what you're noticing. Give them the opportunity to speak as well. Don't just say that, hey, you're an avoidant and blah, blah, blah. No, just say that, I'm noticing this. Again, it makes me feel this way. And, give them a chance to speak. And if they just ask you, like, what do I need to do? Then you tell them. It'll be really great, and it will make me feel really seen and heard and considered. If you could tell me that you need some time to yourself, I'll be happy to be out of your hair. I'll be happy to give you the space that you need, but when you don't tell me, it makes me kind of like feel that, maybe I did something wrong. So something along those lines. If there can be talks about going for counseling and therapy, especially if you're in a marriage or in a committed relationship with this person, then, if you could broach the subject, then broach the subject. You would need to ascertain for yourself. Now, for those who are in the getting to know you stage, talking about therapy is probably not going to be effective. But of course, like I said, evaluate for yourself. Okay. So yeah, I do see that, there is love here. There needs to be getting out from the comfort zone, especially for this person. You will also need to be patient with them, okay, because they are learning. They did not get the chance to learn how to love at the same time, establish healthy boundaries. For them, they had to endure being enmeshed, and now that they're independent, they really have a thick 6 feet thick wall, 3 foot thick wall between them and other people. That's what I'm getting here. They've been wounded, and now they're very wary of other people. So you will need patience to kind of like navigate this, okay? And also you will need strength, and at times it will be disappointing when things are not making progress. So in this case, with the Queen of Pentacles here, I would say in this relationship dynamic, you cannot have airy fantasies about this. You can have hope that the dynamics can change and get healthier and better, but do not bank on him changing. If you want to stay, you have to be prepared that, you stay based on, if he never changes, would I still want to be here? Okay, and if that's the case, then be in that dynamic. But if you are banking on him changing and it doesn't happen, and if you wait for a year or 2 years, that's like 2-3 years of your life being wasted, right? So you need to be practical here. You need to be, first of all, you need to be grounded. Queen of Pentacles is very grounded. They're grounded in reality. They see things for what they are, and I think you already have a good sense of that. You're already that. So keep being grounded, okay? Keep being practical. Don't live in a fantasy. Don't project on them. Don't project your hopes and dreams on them, especially on them changing. I would say see things for how they are. If things are improving, great. And if things don't improve, then you also need to give yourself a time frame and, get out of this dynamic before you lose more time, okay? Because you deserve to have a love that is healthy, that is reciprocal, that fulfills your needs and wants as well. So that's what I'm seeing for you. But again, can I just say there's love here? I do see that for the majority of you, this is something that can be, that changes can happen, okay? So for your advice card, the first card is step out of your comfort zone, not node. I feel this with this one, okay? Because I see the edge here and the kind of like the exit. So this is the beginning. In order to grow this, you need to get out of the comfort zone. Okay, so they also need to get out of their comfort zone, and mainly it's them, but you also need to get out of your comfort zone a little bit to make this work. That's what I'm getting here. Conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. Exactly. I would say if this has been going on for a while, if you're at talking stage, you can open the subject. If you're in a relationship, this also needs to be talked about. Okay. Express your needs. If all this while you've been afraid to say something because you're afraid that you would offend them, they would run off, you need to say something. If not, they don't know. They don't know something is wrong, okay? And if they can't talk about it, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship with them. Okay, so that's your reading. Pile number 2, thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. If you would like to have a personal tarot reading session with me, I do read internationally, so wherever you are in the world, you can engage in my services. Just head over to the link in my description box, and it will take you to my website. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. There, if you chose this pile with the rose quartz, you are pile number 3, and this is your reading. So let us take a look at your cards. The first one is healing. Bless all in need of healing, hope, and love. Spirit, grant us strength and wisdom. Guide us to the path of wellness. The second card is power. Call upon the elements. Focus your intentions. The greatest dragon is within you. So these 2 cards are meant to be your advice cards. So we'll put that aside for now. We'll come back to those later. Now we'll look into the truth of the other person. Okay, so the first card is 3 of Swords. Second card is the Devil. The third card is the Page of Wands. And the final card is the Knight of Wands. So let me just rearrange them a little bit here. Make some room. Now we come to the truth on your side. What's your truth? The Magician. The 3 of Pentacles. The 2 of Cups. The Hangman. And the Page of Swords. And lastly, the truth, the ultimate truth between the 2 of you is 2 of Pentacles for the first card, Knight of Cups, 8 of Cups, 8 of Wands, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so pile number 1 was very general. I could touch points on the variety of dynamics and relationships that it can be applied to. Pile number 2 is very specific for love relationships, and for this pile, I must say it's very specific towards friendship, okay? Particularly male friendship, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, if you're a woman, you can watch this as well. Now, what I'm seeing here is healing and power. I'll get back to that on second thought. We'll come back to this later. But what I'm seeing here, their truth, the truth of the other person is that there's heartbreak here, okay? I'm getting a sense that there is outgrowing of friendships. I get the sense that you and this person were the best of friends. Maybe you've been best friends since the womb, okay? Since kindergarten, you're like bros for life. And you guys went through a lot of things together. You guys went into, got into scrapes together. I don't know, cut school, played truant, been naughty together. And there is this sense that we would be friends for life. But then there is this sense that one person doesn't seem to be growing up. And in fact, they're not progressing in life. they're actually deteriorating in life. Because of the devil card here, there's heartbreak, maybe disappointment, maybe they came from a difficult childhood, maybe there's divorce, whatever it is. There's a devil here. There is addictions. There's addictions to maybe literally addictions of substance. They make bad decisions, they procrastinate, they don't take action, they say they would do something, they break their own promises. They're just not doing themselves, they're just doing themselves a disservice, really. And maybe all this while, like the two of you have been doing that, maybe you fare a little bit better, maybe you are still doing quite well, because I'm feeling that this person is the Page of Wands, and like Page of Wands and Knight of Wands are best friends. So maybe, you know, you are this Knight of Wands, you are more advanced, even though you're naughty, even though you have fun, even though you do the things that he does or this friend does, you still come out higher. There is this advantage to you, okay? And there's a little bit of jealousy here. Even if there's no jealousy, there's kind of like you are realizing that by changing your life, you can live you can get to an infinitely better place, okay? But you are being dragged down by this dynamic, you want to get fit, but he is still, or this friend of yours is still drinking beers and eating chicken wings, okay, and eating junk food. So I feel like you guys started off very close together, similar, but as you start to want to make better decisions for yourself, and this other person continues on that path of destruction, the gap between the two of you are getting wider and wider. Because your truth here is that you know that you are the magician. You have such infinite potential. I'm getting the sense that naturally you're quite lucky. Naturally you're quite blessed in terms of, let's say, you don't have to do anything, but you have good skin, you have good looks. You don't study as much. You cut classes like he does, but you still perform well in academics. Okay, so that is what I'm getting here. I'm also feeling, again, this very strong bro dynamics here. I'm getting this feeling like he's the handsome twin, I'm the ugly twin. Okay, this person feels that way. For some of you, this person may be jealous of you, but for some of you, they're actually not jealous. They have accepted that you are, you are lucky in that way. But on your side, you appreciate this friendship. However, the difference is starting to be too big for the two of you to remain very close friends. You guys cannot talk about the same things. Maybe for you, you are starting to invest, okay, and for this person, they're not investing. There's a variety of camps to this as well. For some of you, this person is accepting of you. You want to make changes, you go ahead. I'm staying in my lane. But then because you understand that you are the equivalent of the 5 people that you hang out, you're starting to question, should I hang out with this person? And for some of you, this person is jealous and outright is insulting you for making a change in your life. Like, hey, can't come, let's party. And then you say no because I want to work out the next day. Then you say, oh, so you're an athlete now? There is that sense of taking jabs at you for wanting to change your life. So again, like, your potential. You can manifest good things in your life, and you feel dragged down by being friends with this person. You can't work with them. Okay, you can't talk about the right things. You're interested in nutrition, they are not. Okay, they scoff about calorie counting, they scoff about intermittent fasting. So there is a sense that there's friction here, and there's regret a little bit too, because you guys seem to go way back when. Okay, you guys have had good relationships in the past. Okay, it's hard for you to let go, but at the same time it's also a little bit easy, because you understand that if you don't, this person has the potential to drag you down. And I get the sense with this Hangman card, you kind of hope that you don't have to make a decision. You don't have to actually make the decision to leave this friendship. If you could, you do want to have them around. However, having them around is kind of like making you stuck in your youthful endeavors, getting into trouble, being irresponsible. At some point, you feel like we need to grow up. We need to start adulting. I can't be like this Page of Wands anymore. And this is really interesting, because here's the Page of Wands and here's the Page of Wands. The two of you are similar, but you are like upgrading yourself. You're becoming the Knight now. The Knight has more responsibilities. They have to train for war, right? They have more skills. And this is you leveling up. At some point, you have to leave this behind. And that's your opinion. But this person is not showing any indication that they want to do that. So what do you do? So the truth of the situation is this. You see, there is this emotional back and forth, like, do I stay in this friendship or do I go? Do I keep them in my life? Do I interact as much with them? Okay, you feel guilty, because I know the bro code, right? And I know you might be a woman watching this. This can apply to you. I'm just feeling really, really strong bro energy here. So, like, you don't want to be leaving your friends. right? Like, how do I do this? Do I just distance myself, or do I actually try to slow talk them and, invite them to elevate their life? So, but I would say that for some of you, what can be done is that you can invite them to, transform their life, go on a personal growth journey together with you, or inspire them. Okay, if they're the type that scoffs at you, maybe you can do the work and inspire them too. For some of you, you will be able to do that. For some of you, you will not be able to do that. And the more successful you become, the more good looking you become because you take care of your health, the more money you have because you start investing and you're more financially literate, the bigger the gap and the more they will start to really maybe attack you, talk badly about you, try to bring you down, and you have to let go of the situation. What I would say though is that make the breaking up of the friendship intentional. Okay, don't just be silent and just tolerate, because if that's what you do, at some point they will hit your limit, and then you will burst. You will burst out of nowhere. You had no intention of losing your temper, but it will happen, and there's no way that you can save the relationship, because you would say things, you would say it right back to them. You've been insulting me all this while. Look at you, I've been working out. You've been insulting me. But where are you in life? When you start saying those things, it's hard to come back from that. And I'm not saying that it's not well deserved, especially if they've been picking at you and insulting you and kind of like, just, I'm getting really immature energy here. So you're an athlete now, or so you're Warren Buffett now, so you're the next Donald Trump. So I'm getting those vibes for some of you. Okay, so don't wait until you've hit your limit and then you say things that you don't mean, or maybe you say things you mean, but you could have said it in a better way, in a more mature way. Okay, don't hit your limit before you actually separate from this friendship. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm getting. If you want to make this work, it's going to be quite hard. Okay, because for a lot of you, especially those who are outright trying to pull you down, they do not have your best interest at heart. Those who still live their lives like, oh yeah, you start investing, great for you. I'm not interested in that. I'm just like, I'm content to live my life like this, they are a little bit more easier to keep in your life. But even that, it becomes a little bit burdensome, because you want to have fun, you want to bring them along, but they don't have the means to do the same, to go on those activities that you want to go. Let's say you want to go to the concert, because you have already budgeted for it, they don't have the means to do that. And so you end up not being able to go with them anyways. Maybe you are starting to read books and they don't, and when you want to share some information with them, they don't get it. So again, there's this sense that maintaining this relationship, even if they're not outright insulting you and attacking you, can still be a little bit of a burden. Okay, now let's get on to your advice cards. The first one is your hard work is paying off. The second one is confidence is your key to success. And then you and your loved ones are safe. Now, this is very clear cut to me. It is saying that do not apologize for having ambitions. Do not apologize for leveling up. Your hard work is paying off. You are seeing the results. Do not hold yourself back. Do not feel that you don't be afraid to outperform the people around you. You are meant for greatness. Okay, confidence is your key to success. Do not second guess yourself. Other people don't have ambition. Other people don't want to level up. That's nothing to do with you. You are given the vision of what your life could be. So you need to do the work. You need to put in the effort. Okay, they're not doing it because they don't have that vision. They're not given that vision, and there is a reason for that. We don't know why, but all we can do is focus on our own lane, and that is what you need to do. You and your loved ones are safe by taking care of you. Okay, taking care of you, your career, your improving and leveling up your life. You are keeping the people around you, your loved ones, safe. When you are healthy, you are able to show up for them. When you have emotional intelligence, you're able to be there for them emotionally. When you take care of your money, when they're in trouble, you can take care of them. And you're also preparing for your future family, right? So you and your loved ones, the ones that exist now and the ones that will come, are safe when you keep on doing what you're doing. So with this, I would say, do not apologize. Whether or not you decide to keep this person in your life, that's up to you. But I do see with this card that it's going to be hard work, okay, to maintain the relationship. Even when they are not like openly criticizing you, they are not insulting you, they allow you to be who they are. They allow you to be who you are, and they remain who they are. But even though that's the case, it's kind of like I said earlier, the conversation is not going to be in alignment. You talk about intermittent fasting, they don't understand what you're talking about. They find it boring. They talk about beers and billiards, and you're not interested in that anymore. Okay, you're talking about investing, and they're interested in the next quick rich scheme. It's very, I understand that the examples that I'm giving are quite stereotypical, but that's what I'm getting here. Okay, so even if they're not insulting you and dragging you down consciously, but when the conversation is not there, it's hard to connect. Okay, so I would leave it up to you what you want to do with this friendship and this relationship. There was a bond in the past, but now you've grown apart. Okay, so if this is your reading, part number 3, thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. If you would like to have a personal tarot reading session or numerology session with me, I do read internationally. So anywhere you are in the world, you can have a session with me. All you have to do is check out the link in my description box. It will take you to my website. So once again, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.